National Electrical Code Section 230.2 addresses the requirement for signage when a building or structure is supplied by more than one service. This section mandates that a permanent plaque or directory be installed at each service equipment location. This plaque or directory must clearly indicate all other services supplying the building or structure, specifying the location of each service disconnecting means. The primary purpose of this requirement is to provide clear identification and location information for all service disconnects, ensuring that personnel, particularly emergency responders and electrical workers, can quickly and safely de-energize the entire electrical system in case of an emergency or for maintenance purposes. It is essential to understand that the term service in this context refers to the conductors and equipment used to deliver electrical power from the serving utility to the building or structure. A building can have multiple services for various reasons, such as when the electrical load exceeds the capacity of a single service, or when there are separate buildings on the same property. When multiple services are present, it becomes crucial to have clearer and accurate signage to avoid confusion and potential hazards. The NEC requires that the signage be permanent, meaning it must be made of durable materials that can withstand the environmental conditions to which it is exposed. The signage must also be securely fastened to the service equipment or in close proximity to it, ensuring that it is easily visible and accessible. The directory or plaque must provide specific information about each service, including its location and the location of its disconnecting means. A disconnecting means is the device, typically a circuit breaker or fuse disconnect switch, that can be used to de-energize the service. The signage must clearly indicate the location of this disconnecting means, allowing personnel to quickly shut off power to the service in an emergency. In addition to specifying the location of the disconnecting means, the signage may also include other relevant information such as the voltage and amperage of the service, the name of the serving utility, and the date of installation. The specific information required on the signage may vary depending on local codes and regulations, so it is important to consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance. It is also important to note that the NEC requires that the signage be maintained in good condition. If the signage becomes damaged, faded, or illegible, it must be replaced promptly. Failure to maintain the signage can create a safety hazard and may result in code violations. Furthermore, the NEC Section 230.2e covers the identification of power sources other than services. This section mandates that a building or structure with more than one power source shall have a permanent plaque or directory installed at each service equipment location or at a readily accessible location. This plaque or directory must identify all power sources serving the building or structure, including but not limited to services, generators, and energy storage systems, and indicate the location of the disconnecting means for each source. The identification must be suitable for the environment and be readily visible. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure that personnel are aware of all power sources serving the building or structure and can quickly and safely de-energize them if necessary. The NEC Section 230.2b covers the building supplying one other building or structure. Where one building or structure supplies another building or structure, the disconnecting means shall be located in or at the second building or structure. The disconnecting means shall be suitable for use as service equipment. An exception exists for large capacity installations where more than one supply is utilized. The location of the disconnecting means shall be permitted to be located elsewhere on the premises, provided that all of the following conditions are met. Firstly, qualified person shall provide design, installation, and maintenance of the system. Secondly, documented safe switching procedures shall be provided and maintained for the installation. Thirdly, electric shock protection shall be provided that is not less than that required by Section 240.87. Fourthly, the disconnecting means shall be electrically operated, be readily accessible, and be capable of being opened remotely under fault conditions. A permanent plaque or directory shall be installed at the location of the local disconnecting means to document the location of the remote disconnecting means. In summary, when a building or structure is supplied by more than one service, the NEC requires that a permanent plaque or directory be installed at each service equipment location. This signage must clearly indicate all other services supplying the building or structure, specifying the location of each service disconnecting means. This requirement is essential for ensuring electrical safety and compliance with the NEC. In practical terms, compliance with NEC Section 230.20 and 230.2e involves several steps. Firstly, determine if the building or structure is supplied by more than one service or has other power sources, such as generators or energy storage systems. Secondly, identify the location of each service equipment and the corresponding disconnecting means. Thirdly, create a permanent plaque or directory that clearly indicates all services and other power sources, specifying the location of each disconnecting means. Fourthly, ensure that the signage is made of durable materials, securely fastened, and easily visible. Fifthly, maintain the signage in good condition, replacing it if it becomes damaged, faded, or illegible. Lastly, consult with a local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Let's consider an example to illustrate the application of NEC Section 230.2a. Suppose a commercial building is supplied by two separate services, one for the general lighting and receptacle loads, and another for the HVAC system. In this case, a permanent plaque or directory must be installed at each service equipment location. The plaque at the first service equipment location would indicate the presence of the second service and its location, while the plaque at the second service equipment location would indicate the presence of the first service and its location. This would allow personnel to quickly identify and energize both services in an emergency. Another example could be a building with a normal utility service and a backup generator. In this case, NEC Section 230.2e would apply. A permanent plaque or directory would need to be installed at the service equipment location, indicating the presence of the generator and the location of its disconnecting means. Similarly, a plaque or directory would need to be installed at the generator location, indicating the presence of the utility service and the location of its disconnecting means. These plaques would ensure that personnel are aware of both power sources and can safely energize them as needed. It is important to remember that the specific requirements for signage may vary depending on local codes and regulations. Some jurisdictions may have additional requirements, such as specifying the size, color, and font of the signage. It is always best to consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. In addition to the NEC requirements, it is also important to consider best practices for electrical safety. This includes providing training to personnel on how to identify and energize electrical equipment, conducting regular inspections of electrical systems, and maintaining accurate documentation of electrical installations. By following these best practices, it is possible to minimize the risk of electrical accidents and ensure the safety of personnel and property. The NEC Section 230.2c covers more than one building or other structure. Where more than one building or structure is under single management, each building or structure served shall be permitted to have one or more service laterals or service drops. The disconnecting means shall be installed at a readily accessible location either outside of or inside of each building or structure served. The service disconnecting means shall be suitable for use as service equipment. NEC Section 230.2d covers identification. Where a building or structure is supplied by more than one service, or by one or more feeders or branch circuits, a permanent plaque or directory shall be installed at each service, feeder, or branch circuit disconnecting means location denoting all other services, feeders, or branch circuits supplying that building or structure. There shall be a permanent plaque or directory at each service, feeder, or branch circuit disconnecting means location denoting all other services, feeders, or branch circuits supplying that building or structure or area. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years, so it is essential to stay current with the latest edition. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that covers a wide range of electrical safety topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. By adhering to the NEC, it is possible to ensure the safe and reliable operation of electrical systems. The information presented here is intended for general guidance only and should not be considered as substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrical contractor or engineer before undertaking any electrical work. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is essential to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others from harm. In conclusion, NEC Section 230.20 and 230.2e are important requirements for ensuring electrical safety when a building or structure is supplied by more than one service or has other power sources. By installing permanent plaques or directories that clearly indicate all services and other power sources, it is possible to provide clear identification and location information for all service disconnecting means, allowing personnel to quickly and safely de-energize the electrical system in case of an emergency or for maintenance purposes. Remember to consult with the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. And always prioritize electrical safety by following best practices and seeking professional advice when needed. Understanding the intricacies of the NEC and its specific requirements, like those outlined in Section 230.2 and subsequent subsections, is paramount for electrical contractors, engineers, and inspectors. These regulations are not simply arbitrary rules but are carefully crafted to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems in various environments. Consider a scenario involving a multi-tenant commercial building. Each tenant space might require a separate service to accurately meter and manage electrical consumption. In such a case, the main service entrance for the building would need to be clearly identified, and each tenant's service disconnect would also need to be labeled with clear signage indicating which tenant space it serves. Moreover, the signage should include information about the location of any other services or power sources within the building, such as emergency generators or solar power systems. This comprehensive labeling system ensures that in the event of a fire, flood, or other emergency, first responders can quickly and safely de-energize the appropriate circuits without risking further damage or injury. The NEC emphasis on permanent signage is also crucial. Temporary labels or handwritten notes are not sufficient because they can easily be removed, damaged, or become illegible over time. The signage must be made of durable materials that can withstand harsh environmental conditions, such as extreme temperatures, humidity, and exposure to sunlight. The lettering must be clear, legible, and resistant to fading. In some cases, the NEC may even specify the minimum size and font style for the signage to ensure maximum visibility and readability. Another important aspect of NEC compliance is the coordination between different trades and professions involved in the construction or renovation of a building. Electrical contractors must work closely with architects, engineers, and building inspectors to ensure that the electrical system is designed and installed in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. This collaboration is particularly important when dealing with complex electrical systems involving multiple services, generators, and other power sources. Furthermore, the NEC requirements for signage extend beyond the service entrance and disconnects. Any panel board, junction box, or other electrical enclosure must also be properly labeled to indicate its purpose and the circuits it serves. This labeling helps to prevent accidental energizing of circuits during maintenance or repair work and can also assist in troubleshooting electrical problems. The NEC also addresses the specific requirements for grounding and bonding of electrical systems. Grounding is the process of connecting the electrical system to the earth, which provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and de-energizing the circuit. Bonding is the process of connecting all metallic parts of the electrical system together, which ensures that they are at the same electrical potential and reduces the risk of electric shock. The NEC specifies the types of grounding and bonding conductors that must be used, as well as the methods for installing them. Improper grounding and bonding can create a serious safety hazard, so it is essential to follow the NEC requirements carefully. In addition to the technical requirements, the NEC also emphasizes the importance of education and training. Electrical contractors and electricians must be properly trained and licensed to perform electrical work. They must also stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and other applicable codes and regulations. Continuing education is essential for ensuring that electrical professionals have the knowledge and skills necessary to perform their job safely and effectively. The NEC also encourages the use of qualified testing laboratories to verify the safety and performance of electrical equipment. These laboratories test equipment to ensure that it meets the NEC requirements and other applicable standards. Using listed or labeled equipment is an important way to ensure that the electrical system is safe and reliable. The NEC is a dynamic document that is constantly evolving to reflect new technologies, changing industry practices, and emerging safety concerns. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and each new edition incorporates revisions and additions to address these changes. It is essential for electrical professionals to stay current with the latest edition of the NEC to ensure that they are following the most up-to-date safety standards. The NEC is not just a set of rules, it is a comprehensive framework for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. By understanding and adhering to the NEC requirements, electrical professionals can help to protect people and property from the hazards of electricity. In conclusion, NEC Section 230.2 and its related subsections are critical for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems in buildings with multiple services or power sources. By following the NEC requirements for signage, grounding, bonding, and equipment installation, electrical professionals can help to minimize the risk of electrical accidents and protect people and property from harm.